Hey there folks, Aldershot here, and today we're going to do an impression on State of Decay Year 1 Edition, developed by Undead Labs and on Steam at the regular price around $30 USD. Now, if you already purchased the original State of Decay, as in if you already had it, you can actually purchase the game at a 33% discount, which is definitely welcome. And if you're not familiar with the original State of Decay, it's essentially a zombie survival game, open world sandbox, done in a similar fashion as, say, GTA, let's say, right? And the Year 1 edition is essentially the remastered version of the original State of Decay, as the original definitely had some problems. It wasn't up-res properly, didn't have proper 1080p, etc., etc. So this edition is aimed to address all those issues and maybe make it look a little bit fancier. And as you can see, the game actually also comes with all the DLCs that was released for the original State of Decay, which is definitely awesome. But for the time being, we're going to just jump into the original game. Now, at the end of the video, we'll talk a little bit about the game's extra features as well as its options. But I think more importantly, we'll also do a brief graphics comparison as well for your benefits. But for the time being, let's just jump into a game that we already kind of got started and see what it's all about. So, this is State of Decay. We are in the main hub area. For anyone who's already played the game, the original State of Decay, this will look very, very familiar. Now, I'm not going to go into all the mechanics of this game, like not into the nitty-gritty parts of it anyways, simply because this game is almost 4 years old, might even be older than that. So I have a certain expectation that many of you already kind of understand what this game is already all about, and how the game kind of functions. But for the benefit of those who might be new to State of Decay, you know, for the 3 people that's out there, I'll kind of briefly go over it. So this is the main hub area where you can upgrade your base, you know, through various means, through collecting materials. You can add and upgrade, you know, either new bedrooms that will allow you to find more survivors to collect and add to your base, I guess, to help you out. You can add watchtowers as well as kitchens and med bays and all that kind of stuff, and you can upgrade them as well. Now, this is an open world sandbox game, so you can tackle any mission or whatever in any way that you want, in any order that you want. Oh god, that scared me. It was just our watchtower. Okay, good, good, good. And as you can see, we have a whole bunch of these survivors floating around. And I can recruit them to help me too, actually. Let's do that. Let's recruit, I think her name's Maya. Yeah, here we go. Come with me and watch my back. There we go. So we recruit them as well. Now, something that's kind of interesting about State of Decay is that if you turn off your game, the game will actually automatically pass time, right? So you come back and you load your game again, you could find some of your survivors out already doing some scavenging themselves. Or maybe one of them even got injured or hurt. Or maybe you find a huge, what's that word I'm looking for? A huge surge of extra supplies because you had a bunch of really great survivors that scavenged a bunch of stuff while you had your game off. So it basically simulates time has passed, which is something that I found very interesting with the State of Decay game. But anyways, already I think you guys can see some of the changes that they made from the original. We'll take care of some of these zombies first and foremost, because they're pretty annoying. They say that they kind of remastered the combat, although I've been playing this game and I haven't noticed anything different. It feels very much just like the original State of Decay as far as combat, so I have no idea what the developers are talking about. But something that they definitely have changed, something that they definitely have added to this remastered version. We'll take care of these zombies first. These guys are really annoying. But as you can see, the combat looks and feels exactly the same as the original. I don't know what the developers were talking about. They say they revamped the combat. No, they didn't. I don't care what they say. I played this game for about 5 hours now. It feels exactly the same as the original. But anyways, as you can see, the game has some cars with decals now. This one has a little flaming octopus thing in the front. whereas I got like a van with camo and stuff like that. So that's kind of interesting, you know. That's kind of how I feel about it. It's not necessarily an improvement. In fact, I kind of feel like these car decals, they're kind of tacky, to be completely honest. This almost feels more like a mod that maybe like a 13-year-old kid would put into this game. So that's kind of how I feel about the new car decals. Now, with that said, I am collecting them because they are kind of rare. Just because I'm kind of a collector, but it doesn't feel like it really fits into the world, you know? It's just a very weird addition, I find. It seems like they were really scraping the barrel for new ideas to put into this remastered edition. But anyways, if you guys played the original, maybe you can see that, you know, the graphics are definitely sharper. You know, the resolution is properly up-res to 1080 instead of stretched to 1080 like the original PC version of State of Decay. And some of the textures have also been improved on as well. As you can see, the textures are sharper. You can get real close. You can still see all the details. I did turn the graphics on max, and we'll take a nice close look at the tree textures as well. They're usually the textures that kind of really give away how much sharpness is in the textures. So it's a little bit blurry if you get really close into it. But it is definitely an improvement from the original State of Decay. And already, hopefully you guys can see the lighting has been improved significantly as well. Your characters don't look orange all the time now. They actually reflect light properly, which is definitely welcome. Definitely looks good. Now, with that said, State of Decay, even though I mentioned that it's one of my favorite survival games, it was never it was never a great looking game. Now, this remastered version, they definitely improved on the graphics, but it's still not the best looking game I've ever seen. They've mainly improved the sharpness of the textures and the lighting. It doesn't really look like they've improved the model quality or the meshes on the models at all. It looks about the same. And the normal mapping or bump mapping, as in the little things that give flat surfaces the illusion of depth, like for this crate box, it has a little bit of normal mapping and bump mapping on it, right? That was never improved in this version either. So everything still looks kind of smooth, still looks kind of dated, because normal mapping or bump mapping is very much a modern 3D technology thing. You see it all the time, especially in modern current gen games, but you don't see it in this game because they didn't add it. So a little bit of a misfire as far as a remastering is concerned. And now, State of Decay, okay, before I move on, State of Decay is an absolutely fantastic survival game. I love it. I've already mentioned that it's one of my favorite survival games of all time. It continues to be one of my favorite survival games of all time. However, my feelings towards this remaster doesn't quite match my opinion of the game. I still love the game, okay, don't get me wrong. But this remastering, I feel to be a bit lazy. I hate saying it because it's about a game that I absolutely adore, but I do feel it to be a bit lazy. Like, they're basically pushing that it's proper 1080p and higher res textures and all that stuff. But to be completely honest, that it should have been like that in the original PC release, right? The original PC port was lazy, was super lazy, was pretty much a direct port from the Xbox Live version, right? I mean, the game was good enough for me to put up with it and still consider it one of my favorite survival games of all time. That's how good the game is mechanically. But, you know, it was a lazy port. And now they're aiming to fix that. And they did. They did fix it. You know, this is what I would have expected in the original port. Proper 1080, sharper graphics, and all that kind of jazz. Unfortunately, they decided to charge us $30 for a proper port of the original State of Decay. That's where I'm gonna have to take a little bit of issue with this game, because I feel like up-res textures and improved lighting is not enough to charge a person $30 for. This seems a little ridiculous. They didn't add anything new to the game outside of like car decals, you know, which is a bit ridiculous. They add a couple new characters, but everything else about this game is exactly the same. The mission is exactly the same, all the items are exactly the same, all the placements of the items are, you know, albeit randomly generated, but still randomly generated in the same way. There's really nothing new here. That's where I take issue. That they're charging $30 for what was supposed to be the proper port of State of Decay. So basically what I'm trying to say is the original State of Decay was a lazy port, but it was an amazing game, and because of how good it was, it made up for the lazy port. And now that they fixed the lazy port issues, they decide to charge us $30 for it. So what is this? This is a lazy remastering. So that's where I take a lot of issues with this game, right? They didn't give us very much new stuff, or barely any new stuff. And the only the biggest thing that they did really, again, was to improve textures and lighting. They didn't even really improve the 3D model quality, you know? They said they improved the animation quality as well. I barely noticed it, to be completely honest. I don't notice any animation improvements. They say they did, but it's so minute that it's barely noticeable. It's definitely not $30 noticeable, right? That's a bit of an issue. It's definitely a bit of an issue. Now, I'm not the only one stating this. I'm looking at the Steam reviews, and I usually don't do that before I do an impression, but I happened to take a little look because I saw the reviews as mixed, which I found to be very weird because this is such a great game. How could it be mixed? Everyone should be loving this. Well, it looks like everyone's having the same issue as me. A lot of people feel like that $30 is not a fair price for what they call a remastering version of State of Decay. Alright, it looks like we're in a bit of a mission here. So we're in a little bit of a military situation here. But that's basically kind of how I feel about the game, about how this remaster edition is handled, right? Now don't get me wrong, fantastic game. If you haven't played State of Decay, and you're looking to play State of Decay, this is absolutely the version that you should pick up. It has all the DLCs, it has better graphics, and it's a little bit less buggy than the original, right? So definitely pick this game up. It's definitely worth it if you haven't played State of Decay. Now for everyone else, I would assume most of you guys who's watching, who have played State of Decay and is wondering if this remastering is worth the $30 that they're charging. Unfortunately, I can't say it is, because there's not enough new stuff to play. It feels like you're playing the same game, except a little bit shinier, right? And I don't know if that's actually going to be worth $30, right? That's kind of an issue. So that's a bit unfortunate. But as mentioned, you know, if you haven't played State of Decay, absolutely, this is the definitive version. You should definitely play this game. I kind of wish they didn't charge me $30 for what should have been the proper port in the first place, right? So that's basically how I feel about State of Decay Year 1 Edition. Lazy, unfortunately. Lazy. They didn't add very much new stuff for old-time fans coming back to this game. And what improvements they did do is very, very minute. And the biggest improvements are things that they should have done right from the get-go. So, not the greatest remastering, unfortunately. But anyways, that's kind of my thoughts on the remastering of State of Decay. It really kind of hurts me to kind of give it a negative feedback because I absolutely love this game. Still a wonderful game, still absolutely fantastic to play, and I'll definitely be playing more of it. I mean, I paid $30 for it. Of course I want to play more of it. I might as well. But there you go. Anyways, we'll get out of this. That way we can talk a little bit about the extra features as well as the options. Now, as far as extra features concerned, as you can see, it does come with all the DLCs that came with the original State of Decay, which is definitely welcomed. Let's see here. It does come with leaderboards and achievements. Options. You can custom bind your controls. Right here, keyboard and mouse. However, you're using a gamepad like me, you cannot, but that's fine with me. It's actually set up fine. And game settings, you can invert some of your axes. You can turn on or off your controller vibration if you happen to use it. And as far as graphics options, here's the final nail in the coffin as far as this game being a remaster edition. So they're saying that this is a PC remaster, the definitive PC port of State of Decay, yet they couldn't even give us a proper graphics menu. Look at this, right? This is not a proper graphics setting. I have a choice of resolution, aspect ratio, and ultra, or whatever the predetermined spec is. You know, I can't even turn on or off anti-aliasing if I choose so. This is ridiculous. They charged me $30 and I couldn't even get a proper graphics settings. Something that PC users actually give a shit about. So, that's disappointing. Sound options, usual suspects as far as sliders is concerned. Now here's something that is kind of nice. If you do have the original State of Decay, you can actually import your original save from State of Decay into the Year 1 edition. That way you can continue playing your game with the fancier graphics. So that's kind of welcome. I do like that. There you go. So that's my thoughts on State of Decay Year 1 edition. Absolutely a fantastic game, of course, because the original was fantastic, and they didn't do anything to change it, really. So it continues to be fantastic, right? However, as a remastering, as if you're coming in already played State of Decay, then this is kind of a lazy remastering. And they're definitely overcharging for what should have been the original PC port in the first place. So that's a bit unfortunate. Hopefully you folks enjoyed this. Hopefully you found this informative or at least entertaining. If you did, show me some love, like, share, fave, and comment. If you haven't already, subscribe, and I'll bring you more videos like this. Now, following this, we'll be doing the graphics comparison, so enjoy that. Thanks for watching, everyone. Aldershot out.
God, I'm coming. Dude, I think these guys want to eat us. You okay? One of those psychos tried to bite me, but yeah, I'm fine.
Well, we can't just stay out here in the open, that's for damn sure.
Ranger station?
Ranger station. Maybe we can find some help there.
What the hell, man? We're gone 2 weeks and what? Everybody takes up cannibalism?
Beats me.
Hold on, I'm coming. Dude, I think these guys want to eat us.
You okay?
One of those psychos tried to bite me, but yeah, I'm fine.
Well, we can't just stay out here in the open, that's for damn sure.
Ranger station?
Ranger station. Maybe we can find some help there.
What the hell, man? We're gone 2 weeks and what? Everybody takes up cannibalism?
Beats me.